my lectures today is the third week now. It's the third lectures on 25th of August. Oh, no. 2021st century already. I'm gonna focus two things. First, I'm gonna tell you about the continue from last week user persona. I'm gonna talk about PACT analysis. What is PACT? I'm gonna tell you later on. And the second one, and I will talk about interaction design, which focus on UX. It's a basic UX. So there are two parts that I will explain in class today. And for the PACT. PACT PACT analysis. What is come from to link with the user persona? I mentioned user persona. PACT. P is like a person, personalities. A is activity. C is content. P. A. C. T. T is technologies. C is content or context that you will do. A is activity. A is person. The PACT analysis is that we analyze the user persona based on this kind of analysis. We're gonna go detail, I go detail by detail. The user-centric design, as I mentioned last week, that user persona help you have a good design. If you don't know your user, personality, characteristic, behavior, you really don't know who gonna be your user of the website, product, or project. So the PACT is what I mentioned here is some kind like of the keywords that make you design your product fit to the user. And this, you got to understand who. It means people, P. What activity that you're gonna carry out for your product. They're gonna click, they're gonna scroll, or even pitch or use the like 3 fingers or 2 fingers, pitch out, pitch in. This kind of gestures is also activity that you plan to design. But in order to design like that, you need to understand the activity that gonna follows along your design product. And also where is the interaction take place, the context. Is the website, is the applications design, or is this really real robots or drone that you are appliance vacuum machine or rice cooker that you plan to design. You need to know the context. They're going to use outdoor, they're going to use indoor, they're going to use in the kitchens, going to use in the bathroom. Because of all those location, it really matters. Otherwise, you're going to design something maybe not fit for the locations that they plan to do indoor, outdoor, at night, during the daytime, for example, and what technologies. So this is PACT. P is people. Okay. Activity, context, technology that I mentioned, PACT. This is the PACT analysis that you will use this kind of technique to focus on user view, focus on user problem, focus on their need, what they really needs. And what user needs is mean that you see the problem in the aspect of the users, in the aspect of the user. That's why we call user-centric design, user-centric design, or user-centered design. User as a center. Users as a center, user-centered design, which will lead you more in the concept of design thinking. That I'm gonna cover this issue again. I mentioned last time about design thinking once, just one short slide. Okay, what is PACT analysis really mean? The PACT analysis is a user-centric. The user framework, you think as a user as a center. User as a center, you are developers, or even you are a designer. Whatever you think for the user. So the PACT analysis, PACT people, activity, context, and technologies. Whatever you think about activity, the context and technology, you might think for your user. For your user. You might not only be a developer, but you may think about if you were a user. If you were a user, what kind of activity, what kind of context that really mean for you, or which, and then you know that which technology that you're gonna apply. So as I said, who, what activity, where the interactions take place, and what technology is gonna be applied. And based on this thing, how to deploy this step. You think about the user-centric framework. It's a framework for your working. You focus whatever on your problem. You think, what is the problem? What is the pain point of your user? The pain point of your user. What they are really problem that you would like to solve that. And try to walk through each step. Walk through who those people are, what kind of activity that people on which contract. So you must think repeatedly think repeatedly, or in software engineering, it's called iterative. Iterative is repeat and repeat คือทำอะไรซ้ำๆวนๆนะมันวนๆซ้ำๆ rethink repeat rethink all those stuff and come back to people again. The people is your user. And then you use this kind of analysis to focus on the early of in the early state of design thinking, and all in all go back again for this process, because you're gonna work deeper into the problem analysis, deeper into the problem analysis. Deeper into the problem analysis. And next one, we start with people. Okay. When you think about your user or the people, because they are user of your product, they're gonna be a target user who gonna buy your product, buy or use your, or visit your website, or download your app, your web, your app, or your product. These users are gonna be people who gonna manage directly with your product. So who those people are, try to think about like a checklist. Make a list. Make a list. Student. Student is too broad. Maybe specify engineering student, art student, architecture student. Apart from this, not include maybe kids who love to play game, kids who are under 15 years old, or in some product you might for adult that 25 years old, or for elderly people that maybe 70 plus, or the elderly people that have the dementia, or maybe you don't know dementia. For the elderly people who have diabetic, โรคเบาหวาน the elderly people who cannot walk well. So this kind of the list of the possible user. Not try, you can try from the broad. Like I said, that it is very broad. Student is very broad. Too broad. You cannot try to specific. Try to specific. And after you specific, if you can specific, the next thing that when you get your product, because those people may be a tester of your product. If the more you specific, the more you get the precise feedback of your product, because they're gonna people who buy your stuff. Or even you think about the competitor of your product. If you develop this thing, if you develop this user persona, who gonna directly interact with your product? Or even think about the competitors. I'm pretty sure that all Apple's developers, they bought all Samsung product, Oppo product, and test the function, test how it works, test also test the UX UI design, or even thinking about how they design. Like Samsung right now, they offer a fold พับได้นะ the fold mobile phone. Apple don't have one. Or even when Samsung develop their new product, they might bought all Apple product and try to scrutinize, examine in detail. So the competitors' product is also your target user. Maybe I'm pretty sure that a lot of you guys change from Apple to Samsung or Huawei, or even you change from Samsung, Huawei to Apple's. It means that the competitor product is also the issue that you might understand both sides. And the category, for example, the three categories of the user that they are referenced when you try to understand your user or your stakeholder. Stakeholder is all people who engage to your product. Stakeholders is people who involve in your product. Stakeholder is all people who engage or concern or even take part of your product, or even prospect user. It's all stakeholders. On stakeholder is not only user, but also the developers, the competitors, and all those people who will get involved with your project or project development of your product. Normally, when you imagine from papers, you may don't have the prototype for testing. So they are like if you still have the like a paper prototype, or even the prototype แปลว่าต้นแบบเนาะyou have the prototype like from sketch prototype, from the paper prototype, or even clickable prototype from some software like Figma, Balsamiq, or even Adobe HD. So those stuff is you might try to test with your specific user in order to understand, to make them understand your product, and also you are gonna understand their well. It means like you should let them hands on something, or even you might see how they're gonna affect when you introduce your product and you see the interactions of the user. And somehow you can see like you might find someone else that you didn't think in mind. Like here, you think, as I mentioned, that you have these people, but maybe you pop up with some new people, some new target which you never think in mind. After you let them hands-on, after you do usability test or test your product. This is the keyword of analysis. Recap again. Now we're talking about analysis. PACT analysis now is P, people. Okay, next one. What is the aspect? What is the aspect that you should think about the people? People is very variety, very differentiate. We all are not the same, no? You and me, at least I'm older than you. We are not the same. Some of you guys might love music. You might love rock music. I love jazz music. People is very variety. It's very variability. We are different. We are different. No? We are different. So you should consider the range of characteristics of people because we are different. As I mentioned, range of student, architecture student, art student, engineering student, or even inside engineering student. There are CPE, computer engineering student. There are like a bioengineering student. There are like a mechanical engineering student. Even engineering itself still different aspects, still different characteristics. And even inside CPE, in our department, we have HDS, right? We have HDS student. And also in HDS student, we have in CPE student have HDS. Apart from that, we have some students that are international students. We have some students that are Thai students, or even we have students that Thai student, but you learn abroad. There are also Thai students who study. Sorry, there are Thai students. There are some Thai students who study abroad. And now you guys come back to learn in Thai, that you have different cultures experience. You have different cultures. Even though you are Thai, or even you are international student, you might come from India, you might come from France. So we are quite different. You come from Malaysia. So all type of people still have a variety. That's why I would like you to think more in detail about people. You consider the range of different characteristics of people, because we are from different background. We are from different background. We are from different experience. We have different age. We might train from different cultures. So people are very different, even among us who are studying in my class. So you guys are quite different, even though we are never meet each other. But as I read from your portfolio, everyone different. But if we all have some common. We all have something in common. So you've got to find those kind of common characteristics. But anyhow, based on those common characteristics or different characteristics, like you see the physiologies. The physiologies difference. We have different age. We have different abilities. We have different height. We have different weight. So if you're gonna decide the game arcade, like a game tour, you can see that if you hide people, You might bend your body a bit in order to play something. But if you is a bit short person, you might need to use some step to play some games, arcade, like a game, jukebox game or whatever, or even the table. If you design some stations and you need to put it on table, they also have standard of the physiologies. They have a standard. For example, if you design the working desk table or chair, they have standard height that 80 centimeters. 80 centimeters. Those kind of physiology is really important. And if you cite some stuff for disabled person, you got to understand. If you design for the wheelchair person, what is the aspect that you're going to decide? That's why you need to understand the people or the user of your project, in terms of physiology, in terms of next one is psychology. How focused you are. For example, you listen to me for hours now, you might feel so boring, you distract from playing games along the way with you listen to me, or even you go to your fridge, you bring some water, you bring some drink, and you bring some food, and you feel boring, you keep on your headphone on, and then you walk around and see televisions in the same time you listen to my lectures. Concentration of the people is not the same. It's psychology aspect. Like your concentration. It means your attention, your perception of view, the eyesight. I wear the glass. You didn't wear the glasses. I have very both short sight, long sight. So I dislike a brightness. So the perceptions, the viewpoint of everyone, the viewpoint of each user is not the same. The people is not the same. The memory, you work with the kids, maybe they're really, really good like you guys. It's a teenagers that you really have the good memory, good memorize. So the mental model is also interesting. If you focus with the kids which has autistic, they might have short concentrations. If you work with the slow learners people, I need to talk more detail and very slow and very clearly and maybe repeat. But if I talk to intelligent student, I might just point to the keywords like focus. And then I keep talk fast. So you need to, I don't care what you're gonna pick up my words or not, because I'm pretty sure that you are an intelligent student. You know what I'm gonna talk and you know what I'm gonna teach, and I go fast. So this type of people, those type of people is really important with those characteristics, and also the social and cultural context. I mentioned about the experience here. Because we have different background, different cultures, different experience. This is an aspect that you need to keep in your mind, that people have people is very different. You have variety of people in terms of physical, the body, in terms of psychology, is the brain, the emotions, and also in terms of social and culture, it means like how you frame, how you guys will frame based on your based on your families, based on your families, based on your country, based on your country, based on your land, or even in based on your religions. Based on your religions, you are Muslim, you are Buddhist, or you have no religions. Is who don't care. The new generation is like avant-garde, really avant-garde. You don't care about it. Those kind of personalities is very important. It's like what you will frame from your socials and your cultures, your families, your countries, even your high school. I am pretty sure that you come from different high school. You have your own style, like OSK, you have very own style. You are Chaturamit group, or you have the other your personal school characteristic. You are from Lai Sarasat, you are also another characteristic. You from Assumption, you also have another characteristic. You are from Saint Joseph, or even you from Julapon Rashvidyalaya. You are from boarding school, โรงเรียนประจำเนาะ boarding school. You those stuff is make people difference, but all in all, you should find some common. You should find some common characteristic, common persona based on those user, based on those users checklist that you did. Okay. The next one, people and what are the capability is also their persona. It means that you need to understand variety of the dimensions, many dimensions of those people. Even the, as I mentioned, the capabilities is based on the, I recap again, physical like body side or body psychology, mental, and also the social and cultures. Yes, this is the issue that you might keep in mind. And those issues, they have variety, many dimensions. Like physical is some kind like a side of the hand. You work with the kids, as I said. My hand, your hand, maybe we are adult, we have like a similar side. The kids, if you play with kindergarten or the baby, they have very tender and very soft hand and very small one. And you work with other elderly people, they have the same hand side, but maybe they don't have a strong enough as us. We are still young. I am still young, so we have very strong to grab something. So to design something, you just like design a mobile phone, and then it's you can grab it easily. Or even the size of the whatever that you design, the size of the hand may affect the size of positioning of the buttons that you're going to design on your mobile phone. Or even I said the strong or weakness of how to grasp things, the motor's abilities to input to output device. The motor sense, motoring is mean the muscle. The motor ability may affect the suitable of certain input output. The height I mentioned already the high, you are a high person, you are a short person ความสูงนะความสูง because when you develop the kiosk as I mentioned it's like a รู้จัก kiosk ไหมเนี่ย kiosk is like a when like a ATM or the ตู้บุญเติมก็ได้เป็น kiosk kiosk is just like a whenever you design the game stations you might have a like a site high yeah like you have an ATM this is the height of the kiosk is like a เหมือนตู้นะเหมือนตู้เกมไม่รู้จะอธิบายไง kiosk okay the strength is the how they the tolerance of the equipment or even how long for the batteries if you design something that you need to use the like a Wi-Fi or mobile stuff and you need to think about the for example the toys for the kids or even I don't know whether you ever play Nintendo or Xbox or PlayStations all those stuff if you need to plug in but if you like to mobile is to play without the cable is a wire if it's a wireless if it's a wireless you need a battery to charge it or even wireless mouse also you need to think about not ever how to grab it like this or you need to think about the life the length of the battery or even the strength of the Bluetooth signal or the Wi-Fi or even when you use the stylus pen how long it's gonna how long is for the battery life okay and the last thing is the abilities of the ability of how the sight you see you hear and dexterity because every single people here as I said we are quite different we are different but you need to find common you need to find common characteristic or common focus or common interest or whatever that you will bring it to your product development okay and now the activity we understand people already we analyze those people who they are we already analyze those people who they are now we're gonna see through their activities what kind of activity that they're gonna satisfy the activity that they might satisfy they are like a pragmatic person hands-on person or very philosophic thinking person what are the overall proposal activities that you would like them to do on your project so you got to understand their activities or their style because when you design product or they design website you need to satisfy them or even the temporal aspect is mean in term of time how regular you should update your screenshot, how regular that you're gonna have the notification, how regular that you're gonna like is how frequent that notification pop up. So this kind of issue of activity in terms of time, the time pressure. If you play games, game they have a bar, like the game they have, like you have the power of the game, and then the powers of the game is just like countdown 3, 2, 1, pow, 0, time out. So it's like it is a time pressures, the time pressure in terms of time, or the activity should not be continuous, should not be interrupt. It's all kind of the activity concerning time. You don't think about that, the activity analysis that you're gonna put in your design based on user experience analysis. And next is the cooperations. The cooperation is concerned on team. Is this a teamwork or group work? Or you need 2 players if you design games, you need 3 players, or unlimited. You need the user to cooperate. So you need 1 or more actors. Those people get involved is like your actors, the actor of the activities that you design. How complex is the next issue? How complex? How complex it is? So if it's really complex, maybe you need to, if it's a really complex, maybe you need to explain detail step by step. Step by step. Or it's really self-understanding. You need not to explain everything. You, or even some games, you may let it like a blur line for the user or the game players. Just try to guess inside the games. The next thing is the safety. The safety. It means that the safety is if you do some appliance or robot, the safety of electricity or the safety of the user or equipment is really serious. If for example, if you use, do you know maybe need 7 you need to understand about the amp and the watt, the volt, sorry, the volt, if of the current กระแสไฟนะ that is this AC or DC, direct or indirect. So this all issue that is maybe concerned about safety, and apart from that is about the safety, about the critical issue on error. In order to make less error, how you gonna design your product? Otherwise, it's concerned about the safety issue. And the next thing that you might concern about the activity is the media. I mean the content itself. the nature of the content itself. The type of data that you're gonna be processed, the type of this data is a text, the image, or it's a sound, or even it's a real object, or it's headset. We need to use headset. It's type of media, video, photos. Those kind of the type and the natures of the content. The type and the nature of content that you need to think about the activity of the user that's gonna interact with those objects and the content, and how complex your content is, how complex your activity is, and also in terms of time. How pressure, is it any time pressure, any time process, or any how often is it regular, how often is regular notifications, or it's just like you don't care about those time. Okay, next one is the context. I think I'm gonna take a break. It's 1 hour already. I take 5 minutes break, and maybe afterward I come back with the context and PPTA.